My father left my family because he found true love, and now he is mad that I am cutting him out of my life forever. I never thought I would actually write this, but here I go. I, 17 male, am the oldest child of my family. My father, 44 male, my mother, 43 male, and my little sister, 15 female. Throughout my life, I've always loved my father and idolized him to the point of making him proud being my whole life purpose. In 2019, he had to immigrate to Europe to prepare our lives there and be away from our homeland forever. In 2022, we finally reunited with him, and from there, I thought that it was the end of our struggling, but then after just 2 years, he started acting funny. He got a job as a hotel driver, and from there he changed completely. He stopped hanging out with me and my sister, he started coming home late, and then just eating and sleeping. We felt so distant, like he was trying to stay away from the house. My mother was the first to notice this, and slowly their relationship began to break down. One day, I had a beach hangout with the school, but when I was preparing, I heard shouting, and it was my parents fighting. Apparently, my father had cheated on my mum with a single mum with 2 kids from Morocco since last January, and this whole time he was spending time with this woman. Then my father, out of wrath, grabbed my mother's arm so hard that it wounded badly, blocking blood flow. And it got to a point where she picked up a knife and said, "If you don't get out of my effing house, I will kill you." And so he did. It was a hard thing to process, and after this event, 2 months later, he was slowly drifting away from our family responsibilities, like paying the bills, school, etc., and it became obvious he no longer loved us. The annoying part is that he claims he still loves me and my sister, and that he will always be with us. We are not dumb enough to believe, because if he actually did, then he would at least participate in our responsibilities. I felt so lied to and so manipulated. I idolized this man. I saw him as my ultimate guide on how to win in life, and now he is nothing but a lustful man who will go for any woman who isn't my mother. Thankfully, we are in a much better state, especially my mother. We've accepted that he's gone for good, and have even begun claiming that my father is dead when someone asks. However, from time to time, he still tries to contact me and my sister, and I don't know what to do. I also want to mention that my mother can easily file an order against him for assault using the photo that she took of the wound that he gave her, and also some threats in their old chats. But because all of us are devout Christians, my mother has had mercy on him and refuses to press any charges. They are still not officially divorced, and I don't know what to do about it. If anybody wants any information or has any advice on my situation, then I would truly appreciate it. Thank you. In the comments, Deleted says, quote, "But because we are all devout Christians, my mother had mercy on him and refused to press any charges. I'm a Christian, and I urge you to consider that forgiveness does not mean freedom from consequences. Forgiveness is a gift that is given to someone who repents and changes their ways. But to fail to hold someone accountable who has not repented and changed only gives them a license to further harm others. I firmly believe that this is not God's intention, as it does nothing to further the kingdom of heaven on earth. Consider your safety and your mother's safety. Pursue the order." And OP says, "Thank you for clarifying. I should probably tell my mum the same thing, but from a logical perspective, he isn't living with us, and he has no information on us nor the house. He has the keys to the house, sure, but nonetheless, he wasn't threatening any harm after this incident. This incident happened in June of 2024, so it would just be a useless effort considering that we have other problems to deal with, but thank you so much for your advice." Aaron Man Dad says, "I am sorry for the shitty situation that your father's actions have put you and your family in, and I commend you on all coming together to protect your mother's safety and dignity, and trying to succeed in life. I also understand the strong urge to leave sleeping dogs lie, and not wanting to pursue a divorce between your parents due to the discomfort and unpleasantness that facing him again would entail. However, in addition to what the previous commenter said about forgiveness does not mean that you don't hold one accountable for their actions, please also consider the legal ramifications of your mother continuing to stay married to him. I'm not sure which country you live in, but being the legally married spouse of a person gives the other spouse several rights and privileges. For example, if your parents co-own the house that you live in and your mother passes away suddenly in an accident without leaving a last will and testament, your father would automatically inherit title to the house. Or if your mother were to get seriously ill to the point where she was hospitalized and unable to make decisions, your father as the spouse might get the right to make such decisions on her behalf, including whether or not to disconnect life support systems, etc., ahead of you or your sister. The above are just some scenarios and may not be accurate based on where you live, but that's all the more reason for you and your mother to consult a divorce lawyer and at least talk through the pros, cons, and ramifications of choosing to stay married versus suing for divorce. Good luck, and I hope things turn out the best for you. OP replies, "The house isn't owned by us, it's rented by my father's friend, whom we pay a monthly amount. We all live in Spain, but my parents were married in the homeland of Egypt, so their marriage is only recognized on paper. That can be undone by divorce. However, in one of your scenarios, if my mother was hospitalized or even dead, without the divorce, me and my sister would legally be forced to live with him as he still holds custody. Right now, we aren't financially ready to file for divorce, nor do we know how it works in Spain. But my mother thankfully is considering the divorce when the time comes, but sadly not considering filing a police report, and I don't know why." I guess at this point, all you can do is just continue to push for her to file that police report. Doesn't sound like there's too much else that you logically and legally can do, which sucks, but that's just life sometimes. You're in a bit of a bind, OP. I do hope that you push for the best outcome here because you all deserve better, and her not taking action is only going to harm her and harm you further. And now, onto the update 21 days later. Hello everyone. Last month I made a post about how my father left me and my family for a single mother, and how he is mad that I don't love him anymore. Well, sadly, this isn't a positive update, as it turned out that my father wasn't paying my little sister's school bills since last month, and all this time, the school kept my sister out of pity. But now it's getting very serious. It's been proven over and over again that he isn't involved in our lives and needs. The logical conclusion would be that we file a report against him for child negligence. However, we are so financially stuck to the point where it is sickening. I try my best to stay strong for the both of them, but I don't know how much I can take. To add insult to injury, he got offended when I disrespected him and then ghosted me for disrespecting your father. And at this point, I want to choke him to death. I don't know how we can stand on our feet in order to file for divorce and make him pay. I am sorry that the update wasn't positive, but I promise to let you guys know if anything finally comes together. Also, thanks to everyone who advised me on the consideration of divorce. My mother finally agreed to it, but sadly, we can't go as far as reporting him to the police for the assault back in June, as the case will likely be dropped, and like I said, we don't have the money. Again, thanks to everyone who was concerned, and I promise to give you any updates in the future. In the comments, Side Annie says, "Is there any way that you can legally make him support you guys financially? I don't know how the system works in Spain, but especially since your sister is under 18, he should be obligated to pay to support his children. Both child support and alimony exist in Spain. I don't understand why OP's mom hasn't started this process for these yet. She needs to think of the kids first, even if her soon-to-be ex-husband has left her feeling like shit." Infamous Cash says, "She's so Christian that she's putting her pride over her children." And OP replies, "Not really. We are so financially stuck, let alone the fact that she is busy looking for a job since she became unemployed because of him. She considered the divorce though, just not the timing. Because my parents got married in Egypt, in Egyptian law, there isn't something called a child support. The father can fight for custody, but he isn't obligated to pay anything. The Spanish government only recognized my parents' marriage, but they can't judge them based on their laws due to them still being immigrants." Very odd situation, that one, and I don't really know the answer, but I think that they can get child support. I wouldn't think that Egyptian laws apply to Spain and that, they're not being recognized. I think OP needs to go do some more research and come back with an update saying, hey, so we talked to a lawyer pro bono, and we're getting child support now, so thank you guys for the information. Looking forward to seeing that one in the future. Best of luck to you, OP. It sucks, but it really doesn't sound like the end of the world. Thank you for the story, and I'd love to know what you guys have to think of this one down in the comments. Our next post is by user Dismal Scientist, and it's titled, Am I the asshole for snooping through my girlfriend's stuff for her Christmas present? So my girlfriend just got divorced from her husband because of cheating. I wanted to get her a nice Christmas present to cheer her up, and I knew that she loved perfumes. She had a pretty expensive collection. When I was over at her apartment, I took a picture of her perfumes. She had a lot of samples too, so I took pictures of those. I found a perfume that I thought that she would like, and she loved her Christmas present. I told a friend how I got my girlfriend the perfect present, and he was in trouble because he flubbed his gift. He said that it was creepy, too much effort for a rebound, and that I should never tell her. I was planning on telling her. I didn't think it was creepy. Am I the asshole? In the comments, Back7 says, not the asshole, and your friend is a tool. You didn't break into her apartment and read her journal to find out her deepest wish from the 2nd grade was to own some Tom Ford Lost Cherry. You took a picture of her perfume collection to refer back to so that you knew what scent notes that she was drawn to, and you didn't purchase something that she already had. That isn't invasive, it's a good way to get a good gift. Notice Imaginary says, this is bothering me because in my mind, taking pictures of her things is weird and creepy, but for some reason, writing them down and taking notes on what she has isn't creepy. Same result, just easier. I think what's throwing me off is the actual act of taking pictures of someone's stuff is typically taboo. I know that my wife and son have taken a look at my collectibles to pick out a gift for me before, so I'm gonna go with not the asshole. I get where the friend is coming from. I do understand the mindset. But yeah, I think in this situation it's permissible. I mean, OP wasn't going around taking photos of everything in her house being like, yep, let me document and catalog that. Like, that's what you think of when you think of someone taking pictures. I think this friend of OP's is over-exaggerating and then saying, oh, it's creepy. This is too much effort for a rebound. You should never tell her this. I don't want to call it projection either, but, I guess it's just an overreaction. Saying it's too much effort for a rebound when this is someone that you're compatible with, bit rude as well, I won't lie, that's a bit mean. If OP feels as though this girlfriend is someone he is not just having a rebound with and then leaving, it's someone that he sees a future with, saying that it's too much effort for a rebound in this situation, that's mean. That's rude. I think he's a bit of an asshole for that. Yes, it's a close friend, but even close friends can say things that are quote-unquote brutally honest, but, maybe uncalled for. I'm with the other comments, not the asshole OP. And now, on to the update. Thanks for the feedback. My girlfriend did exactly what I thought she would do, and she asked how I got her the perfect Christmas gift. I could smell the perfume on her, which made me happy. I got her Zoologist Bee and Hummingbird. Based on her collection, she liked gourmands, sweets, and florals. She liked complicated scents and had a few niche ones. She didn't have any zoologist scents yet, so I also got her a few samples. A couple of people suggested that I shouldn't tell her about opening her perfume drawer to look at her samples, but I didn't feel right hiding that. So I told her that I took a few pictures of her perfume collection and all her samples so I could get her perfect scent. She was quiet for a while, and it made me a bit nervous that I messed up, but then she hugged me and smothered me with kisses. She said that I was the perfect boyfriend and that she wanted to marry me. I was thrilled, since she was a bit reluctant to get in a relationship with me after being burnt. To be clear, she didn't cheat. Her husband cheated on her and left her for his co-worker. They legally separated, and my girlfriend moved into a new apartment. I met her a couple of months later. She asked me out the day that she met me because she thought that I was hot. We went on a date and I told her that I wasn't a casual relationship guy, so she had to be fully in. We started officially dating 6 months ago, and it's been a dream. She got me an awesome birthday present too, a trip to a country that I've always wanted to visit. She has been asking me about my vacation days and when I plan to use it. My girlfriend said she wanted to plunge into zoologist, but she did have a few hang-ups. Her ex thought that she was wasting money and scolded her about it a lot. He even threw away some of her perfume, which makes no sense in my opinion. She thanked me for breaking that and getting her new signature scent. Shout out to all the fragrance subreddits for helping me find the perfect perfumes. In the comments, Terpsichorean Wombat says, "Whoa, there is a whole other huge layer out there too, with the details about the ex. This is way beyond just, I pay attention to your tastes and worked to choose something you would really like, which is awesome to start with. This is also, I hear and respect what is important to you. I support what you love, and I am really sorry that guy treated you like that. I am not that guy." Yeah, I get the spontaneous proposal now. Yeah, the contrast is pretty stark. I'm glad that OP showed her what kind of level of care she deserves. It's easy to forget if you're mistreated enough. I just love that he's interested enough himself in perfume to know what to look for. My husband likes smelling my perfumes, but his eyes would glaze over if I tried talking to him about notes and perfume houses. OP's girlfriend is very lucky. Yet another nice ending to a lovely story. I very much love that, and I love that OP is so attentive. And yeah, after such a shit relationship beforehand, where her needs were not being met, he did not care about her interests, like perfume, she does deserve someone that cares about her and pays attention. I'm completely on board with that. I feel like that transcends whatever the original issue with the friend was. I would expect that OP now did not take those words to heart and has just kind of ignored what the friend has said. Thank you for the lovely story, OP, and all the best going forward. Am I the asshole here for refusing to give my husband the cash that I got back from a present that he asked for me to return? For context, my husband, 46-year-old, got into a terrible cycling accident last year. He suffered from a punctured lung requiring a chest tube, 3 broken ribs, and a broken clavicle. He spent 5 days in the hospital. It was really scary for all of us. He's finally back on the bike and training again. The kids and I worked really hard for his birthday present this year. We wanted it to be something to recognize how proud we were of him getting back on the bike. It's important to mention that when asked what he wanted for his birthday, he would tell us, "I don't need anything." We, and by we, I mean me, because our kids are both under the age of 7, got him a Garmin Vario, which is a bike radar and camera that provides a tail light, visibility to approaching cars, and notifies the biker of approaching cars. Total cost was $500. We gave it to him last night, and it was pretty obvious he didn't want it. This morning, he asked me to return it. I'm pissed about his ungrateful reaction, but that's another conversation. Later on today, he informs me that he'll just take the $500 cash amount as his present instead. I told him, hell no. He doesn't want the gift, fine, but I'm not giving him the money, especially with how ungrateful he was for the original gift. He said that I'm the asshole and that it's his gift and therefore it is his cash. So am I the asshole here for not giving my husband the cash that I'm getting back for returning the gift that he didn't like? In the comments, Yavana12 asks, "Info. Is this normal behavior for him, or have you seen shifts in his personality since his accident?" Ooh, good point. A good friend of mine had a TBI, and it took years before he found things funny again. Even now, he still gets grumpy quicker, though he tries to hide it. Brain injuries are wild. Alkaline Drillbreaker says, "As a cyclist myself, I'm confused why he wouldn't want that rear camera for extra insurance, especially after being in an accident." Yeah, it's frustrating. You put so much thought into that gift, especially after everything he's been through, and he just brushed it off. Then asking for the cash? That's pretty disrespectful. You're not in the wrong for not giving him the money. He needs to recognize the effort and meaning behind the gift. And it would be one thing if he never got back into training and cycling. It would be understandable if such a traumatic and life-changing experience was too much for him, but he did. He showed them that he was still invested and interested and a keen cyclist, and they reacted and responded accordingly. Talk about mixed messages. Why is no one asking him why he didn't want the gift? Or there's just no interpersonal context here. Is he normally ungrateful? Is he normally entitled? Is he too traumatized to consider the fact that it could happen again? AKA, is he in denial? Maybe choosing his birthday of all days to give him a poignant reminder of the horrific accident he was in was not a good idea. Look, I see your point with that one, but is it also not a reminder that you care about his well-being? And while you want to support his habit, you also don't want him to get in another accident? You don't want to lose him? You do not want him to die? Maybe this time with this gift, you can prevent any more accidents from happening, or at least reduce the possibility of it. I think that he's acting irrationally because of the accident. I think those initial commenters probably had the nail on the head a little bit. It sounds like there might be a little bit of TBI going on, because I trust OP knows what he is normally like, and that he would not normally react this way. That's my assumption, and I'm giving OP the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they're the asshole here either for refusing to give him the cash. That's a very weird thing to do. And now, onto the update. So I'm not sure if this is how you're supposed to post an update. I had no idea that my post was going to get this much attention. Thank you everyone for your advice. I want to clarify a few things. This present was not a way to encourage him back on the bike. He's been riding again for several months now, 20 plus miles at least 3 days a week. He's training for a triathlon. I asked my husband if the present triggered him or brought back any traumatic memories. He told me it did not. His reasoning for not wanting it is that he doesn't want all the extra electronics on his bike. He did apologize for his reaction and thanked the kids and I for the thoughtful gift, but explained that he would never use it. Not that it's really anyone's business, but we have a joint account, and then we each have our own separate bank accounts. It works for us. I did not give him the money. We agreed to use some of the money to set up a fire pit in our backyard, which is something that he has wanted for a while. The rest of the cash is going into my wallet. I got the Garmin Varia RCT 715 with a rear view bike camera for $399, and then I got the Garmin Edge 130 Plus compact bike computer to go with it, which was $120 for those of you questioning if I'm telling the truth about the price. That's all, folks. I wish he kept the gift for his safety, but I can't force him to use it. I've learned my lesson, and I will no longer be buying surprise gifts for him. If he doesn't tell me exactly what he wants, he will get a gift card. In the comments, Natalie4332 says, "It sounds like you're doing what's best for both of you, even if that's not what others might expect. A joint effort for the fire pit is a great compromise. As for the gift, it's okay to learn and adjust next time. Just ask what he wants." Nara Shikamaru says, "My cousin was an avid cycler. When I was in middle school, or maybe a year before I started, she was in a horrific accident that almost killed her. Comatose for a month, brain surgeries, the works. Took 2 years for her to recover, including relearning to speak and walk. The impact was so extreme, her helmet, custom fit to her head, she was so serious about it, split open. It came off after the second/bounce impact. There was no one else involved. It was an uneven pavement on a downhill slope, on a route that she had done 100 times before, just a freak accident. Bike accidents are no joke, and if someone got me a safety measure like the one that OP got her husband, I would be so unbelievably grateful and would definitely use it, and I'm a little bit tech clumsy. Is that a word? I'm not taking back what I said, I don't care. I think it was a good gift by OP. I think he was a bit of a dick the way that he approached it. I respect that he doesn't want it. I respect that it didn't go the way that OP thought it would and he had his reaction, his response, and his feelings are valid, though I think he is being illogical. If I had a wife and that wife was concerned that I was going to hurt myself again, I would want to put her worries at ease by accepting her gift that is going to make me safer, even if it's not going to stop freak accidents like falling off of my bike all of a sudden. If that's the compromise they need to make to keep their relationship afloat and solid, fair play to them. Thank you for the story, OP. I hope all continues to go well from here. Our next post is by user CoolerBeans1981, and it's titled, I laughed at my sister's tragedy, and now I'm uninvited to the baby shower that I'm planning. So my sister is due in early January, and we're planning her baby shower for early December. She decided she wants to use my mother's maiden name, Rafferty, as her daughter's name. Not a tragedy itself, and I guess it works as a unique name. But yesterday, I texted my sister that I needed to get the custom items with my niece's name ordered ASAP, so they arrive in time for the shower. My sister then let me know that they're going with an alternative spelling for Rafferty. I texted back, an alternative spelling of our mother's maiden name. My sister wants to spell it Raefarty, Ray Farty. So I sent back a bunch of laughing emojis, and she asked, what's so funny? I tried to explain that no one will pronounce that as Rafferty, and she'll probably get plenty of the same mispronunciations. She told me that I was being ridiculous. I texted back, my poor niece, little Miss Farty Ray. I was uninvited to the shower, and my mum told me today that my sister doesn't want me as the godmother anymore. But Ray Farty is really bad, isn't it? Someone needs to tell her, right? In the comments, Barge G says, yup, it's Ray Farty, no matter what sis wants to believe. And OP says, thank you. Little Farty Ray is not going to be a ray of sunshine when she starts school. She's going to be a fart ray of sadness. Yes, you had to tell her. Also, just saying that being uninvited means you can cancel all the baby shower plans and save the money for little Ray's name change when she's 18. Rafferty comes under the category of names that I wouldn't use. Not a big fan of surnames as first names, but which I can see tick some boxes that would make them appealing to some people. Honors your mum, sounds gender neutral, could use the nickname Raf. Ray Farty comes under the category of names that sound like jokes. No wonder you laughed. Do what you can to dissuade her. Everyone's going to pronounce it Ray Farty. And OP says, I agree. I wouldn't use it myself, but I get that it honors my mum and her family, and it's not too out there. Thank God my mother wasn't born a Lewandowski. No offense to the Lewandowskis out there. My mum is mildly annoyed that she wants to honor her last name, but totally respell it. But my mother's opinion is that it's my sister's child, and no one but she and her husband really have a say in the name. Apparently my sister insists everyone will understand it as Rafferty and not Ray Farty. No, they won't. Literally everyone will look at the name and pronounce it as Ray Farty. Just because your sister believes that everyone should magically know how it should be pronounced, she cannot change the way everyone else understands phonetic pronunciation. It's hilarious, but at the same time, I feel so bad for that poor kid. It would be marginally better if she spelled it Ray Ferty, but I promise that even Ray Ferty would swiftly devolve right to Ray Farty. I hope your sister comes to her senses. Oh, cute little Ray Farty. What a fun little name that is. I'm sure the kid won't get bullied horrendously once they go to school and then curse their parents for giving them such a shit name. If you can't be honest with your siblings and help them steer away from a objectively terrible choice that everyone else is enabling, then, I don't know, I think they deserve to have their own lives crash and burn. But if I were OP, I'd go harder on this one even after the disinvite, if only for the sake of little baby Ray Farty. I wouldn't want to see them grow up being bullied like that, and it is my nephew/niece. I would want to give it a red hot go without, breaking off the relationship with my sibling. Anyway, I don't think you're an asshole for what you've done, OP. I think you did the right thing, and it's really funny that you got uninvited. And now, onto the update. So I don't know if updates are allowed here, but here it is, and sorry it's so long, and I've been having a hard time submitting it. I'll try posting some and put the rest in the comments. So we had an intervention on Ray Farty. I know everyone said to send a link to the original post to my sister to show her that 103% of the global population would call her daughter Ray Farty, and that would be the easiest thing to do. But some commenters said some pretty gnarly things about my sister that she doesn't need to read and feel worse about herself. But I wanted to address a few things that came up. First, for those saying that I shouldn't bother paying for the baby shower anymore, I had no plans to not continue to pay and help out. Disagreements and fighting aside, I love my sister and want her to go into motherhood filled with love and support, regardless of whether she wants my support or attendance at the event. Second, my sister's husband was made aware of the spelling change of Rafferty to Ray Farty about a month before my original post. He said he didn't think much of it until he saw it written down and immediately saw it as Ray Farty too. He said her emotions had been getting worse throughout the pregnancy, and he didn't know how to approach her about going back to the original spelling. He had hoped that once she gave birth, all the hormones would somehow leave her body, she would come to her senses, and it would be a non-issue. Third, a lot of you were lumping my mum in with my sister and said some pretty horrible things about her too. All my mum knew was from my sister calling her to complain that I laughed at her for slightly changing the spelling. My mum just assumed that it was a minor change like Rafferty, Raffertie, until I told her to grab a pen and paper and I would spell it out for her. Once she saw it as Ray Farty, she was team save this child. Now, for those of you who told me that I didn't have any tact and that my reaction was mean, my reaction was because 1, people would call the poor girl Ray Farty her entire life for the sake of my sister being quirky. 2, pregnancy brain aside, surely my sister would realize her child will be called Ray Farty once it's pointed out, have a laugh, change her mind, and that this will end up being a funny story to tell at her daughter's future wedding or something. And 3, my sister is a bit of a joker, so I also initially thought that she was just pulling a prank or joking. But if she was joking, she took the joke really, really far. She spent $400 on a mural painted on one wall in the nursery. She wanted to debut the finished nursery to everyone at the baby shower, including her husband, who was forbidden to see it beforehand, that had Ray Farty incorporated into it that now needs to be repainted. She also bought herself a birthing gift. Is that even a thing? She would have my brother-in-law present to her in front of everyone at the hospital a $900 gold bracelet with Ray Farty charms. The baby book also has Ray Farty embroidered on the cover. I contacted my sister's best friend Katie, not her real name, about if my sister has told her anything about the spelling change. She found out about Ray Farty after the blow-up with my sister, as my sister wanted to get Katie on her side. Katie, who was a teacher, was equally horrified about the spelling and told me that this is the worst attempt at a creative name that she has ever seen. The intervention of sorts, the Farty party, if you will, included me, my sister, her husband, his mother and father, my mother, and Katie. My sister refused to believe that anyone could possibly see Ray Farty as Ray Farty, and that we were just mad that she was taking creative license, and that everybody does that nowadays. My sister said children are not that cruel to bully her daughter for her name, and Katie said plenty of kids are cruel enough, and the others would join in so they're not singled out themselves. My sister countered that as long as all the adults are pronouncing it correctly, that it'll be no problem. And Katie told her that not only would the adults not know how to pronounce it to begin with, but that as long as fart is in the name, kids will latch right onto that. I was happy Katie was there because she's shared interesting names that her students have had over the past years, so I knew her opinion on this would probably be the only one to sway her. My sister cried for about 10 minutes and finally agreed to entirely change the name, because even Rafferty was tainted because we had all ruined it for her. We told her to take the time to consider a new name. She told us she still wanted to honor my mother, and she suggested she would combine my mother's first name with her mother-in-law's name and created a name on the spot that included a crass term for a lesbian. I can't! She's insane. Actually insane. When my mother pointed that out, she started crying again and accused us of not letting her be a mum, and her husband suggested that we leave it for now and that we should all go and give her space. Good luck, husband. Good luck with all of that. It's been radio silence until my sister texted me a couple of hours ago that she and her husband landed on Theodora, and she is absolutely in love with it. She even decided that my unborn niece looks like a Theodora in the ultrasounds. She got those creepy 3D ones where every baby looks like the same copper potato. I replied that that was lovely and that I'm so happy that she is happy. It's not my taste, but at least it's not Theodorach or some crap like that. So there you go. My niece has been saved from being called Ray Farty. I'm invited to the baby shower again, and I know that this is just a little blip with my relationship to my sister, and we will be fine. But Katie will be taking over as godmother, which is fine by me. I can always be godmother to their next child, who will probably be named something like Tara Masu. Thank you all for seeing the same thing that I did, and letting me know stopping Ray Farty from coming into existence was the right thing to do. In the comments, Pagman007 says, as long as the adults are pronouncing it right, lady, you are pronouncing it wrong. You can't just change how the English language works. Ray, phonetically, is Ray, farty is farty. You can't just say, oh yeah, my name is F-Dick, but it's pronounced Peter. Australians be like Megan. Suspicious Treat replies, she would just go around and tell everyone that it was Irish or something. It drives me insane when people think the rules of pronunciation don't exist for a reason. Don't they remember learning to read? Man, the sister really thinks that all adults would be kind enough not to talk crap about the name while their kid stands in front of them? Or that a kindergartner will eventually become a teenager and then an adult. Even Rafferty as a first name was pretty far out there. I remember a post a long time back about the baby Karen. That's a normal name, but thanks to social media, it was tainted. The parents witness firsthand both adults and kids treating their kid differently and bullying her. Yeah, you can't just bury your head in the sand when it comes to your kids like that. Like, yes, just because you believe something to be the way it is, does not mean that you should ignore the way the world is currently and the way the world will be when your child comes into that world. You're only doing your child a disservice, and you're not looking out for their best needs. You're just doing what placates your emotions in that instance. You're doing what makes you feel good because that's what you want. It's insane to me that it took a teacher with real-life experience, who just happens to be her best friend or just a close friend, to open her eyes to how narcissistic and how selfish she was being about the Ray Farty name. I also kind of want to know the husband's stance in all of this, because how did the husband not see this and be like, okay, now it's a 2 yes, 1 no situation, and I'm saying no, because I don't agree with it. End of story. You are not getting to decide the baby's name all by yourself here. He had the power. He had the power to change this, and he didn't. What's going on with that? I blame him as well. He enabled this. It took a village to change her mind, when it could have just been him putting his foot down and being like, it's my child too. I'm not letting my child be bullied by a stupid name change. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these situations could be fixed a lot easier. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys have to say about this one down below. Let me know.